Right, for lesson 4B, we have two goals. The first is to be able to recognize and describe the four operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, as well as their results and what each of those results of the operations are called. The second one, and this is where we'll spend the bulk of the time, is to be able to use unit multipliers to convert length measurements. Right, so starting with our first goal over here. See. All right. So we've got each of the four operations. The first one, addition. The result of addition is called a sum. So I've got an example here, just a very basic example. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 is the sum of 2 and 1. Okay. Subtraction. The result of subtraction is called the difference. So if we had a subtraction problem, let's say 9 minus 5 equals 4. We could say 4 is the difference between 9 and 5. The result of multiplication is called the product. And here I already crossed this out. You are probably used to seeing multiplication problems indicated with the symbol of X. However, in algebra, we really will not see multiplication written that way. The reason for this is because algebra deals largely with finding variables, which are written as letters, and the most common variable in algebra is the letter X. So in order to avoid confusion, we don't indicate multiplication with an X symbol, but instead use these other options. So this one, we've got a dot. So if you see a dot in between two numbers or later on some variables, that indicates that these things are supposed to be multiplied together. The most common way that you'll see multiplication indicated is through the use of parentheses. And you might have just one item in parentheses, or you might have all of them. So here we've got 3 and then parentheses 2. That indicates multiplication. And then 3 in parentheses and 2 in parentheses indicates multiplication as well. Lastly, for our operations, we have division. And the result of division is called the quotient. And you may have seen this division symbol, kind of like the line with the two dots on either side. But most commonly in algebra, you'll see division indicated this way, where it's written as a fraction with that bar line indicating division. Right. Now for unit multipliers. Okay. So some sample problems, and we'll go over how to solve these, would be, it might say, use one unit multiplier to convert 32 feet to inches. Okay. And over here, we've got the step-by-step for how we're going to go about solving this type of problem. The first step is to write your original measurement that you're given and write it over 1. So we're basically writing it as a fraction. So here we're starting with 32 feet. So I'm going to write 32, I'm just going to write FT, short for feet, over 1. Okay. So that's the first thing. You take what you're starting with and you write it over 1. Step 2 is to write the unit multiplier that you need. And down here, I've written all of the unit multipliers that you will need to know. Okay, so quickly going through those, we should know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. There are 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Okay, so centi meaning 100. So 100 centimeters in 1 meter. 5,280 feet in 1 mile. 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. And then 1 kilometer is 1,000 feet. Okay, so any of those that you don't already know, I would commit those to memory because you will need them for this type of problem and it will turn up frequently. So for this one, where we're starting with feet and we need to convert to inches, we're going to need this first unit multiplier. 1 foot equals 12 inches. Now, we could write this one of two ways. We could write 1 foot over 12 inches, or we could write 12 inches over 1 foot. Okay? Either one of those is equal to 1, and so we could use either one of those unit multipliers technically. Now, in order to solve this problem, we are going to put the original unit in the denominator. Okay? So original unit, in this case, is feet, and we want to select the version of the unit multiplier that has feet in the denominator, and that would be this one, okay? I'll show you the reason for that in just a second. So I'm going to use parentheses to indicate that we're multiplying. 12 inches over 1 foot. So the reason that we place the original unit in the denominator is because now when we multiply, those two will cancel out, right? Because essentially we have feet divided by feet, and those will cancel out. So our last step, step 3 to solve, is to multiply. And you actually can write it like this if you would like, so you don't have to do the actual multiplication. Reason being, this textbook was designed to be used without a calculator. However, if you would like to do that multiplication, you of course may. I'm not going to do that in my head right now. So that's up to you how you want to indicate your final answer. Then for one more sample problem, so we can go step by step through this. This one says convert 42 meters to centimeters. So step 1 is to write the original measurement, which is 42 meters, over 1. So I'm going to write 42 m for meters over 1. Next step is to write the unit multiplier. Okay, so we need to have the unit multiplier that goes from meters to centimeters. So looking down here, we've got 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So I could write that as 1 meter over 100 centimeters, or 100 centimeters over 1 meter. And now I need to look at what is the original unit and place that in the denominator. So the original unit is meters, and this is our option that has meters in the denominator, and so that's the one that I'm going to write as our unit multiplier, 100 centimeters over 1 meter. That's that. Then our last final step is to multiply. Our meters cancel out, and we are left with 42 times 100. I could simplify that. I think I will. So 4,200 centimeters over 1.